The MotoGP paddock thrives on speed, rivalry, and split-second decisions. But every now and then, it is a single sentence off the bike that sends shockwaves through the entire championship. This time, it was Marc Marquez who lit the fuse. In the middle of an already feverish transfer market, the 8-time world champion was asked to predict the 2027 grid. What followed was not just a playful exercise in speculation. It was a response that has sparked genuine debate across the paddock, because while Marquez confidently placed almost every major name in a future garage, there was one glaring omission: his own. And when the MotoGP narrator cheekily asked whether he would be on holiday in 2027, Marquez's reply, delivered with a grin, only intensified the intrigue. Maybe, you never know. In a sport where contracts are dissected word by word and body language analysed frame by frame, that laugh may prove more significant than it first appeared. The rider market ahead of 2027 is already simmering. Several contracts expire at the end of 2026, and with sweeping regulation changes on the horizon, teams are eager to secure long-term stability. Ducati Lenovo, according to Paddock Whispers, is keen to finalise a fresh agreement with Marquez before the curtain falls on the current campaign. That alone underlines his influence. Marquez is not merely another name in the lineup. He is arguably the axis around which the entire transfer carousel spins. His decision will shape the availability of factory seats, influence satellite alliances, and determine which rising stars accelerate their ascent. So when he offered his vision of the 2027 grid, it felt less like guesswork and more like a coded message. Some of his predictions were eye-catching. He foresees his younger brother Alex Marquez stepping up to the factory Ducati Lenovo squad alongside Francesco Bagnaia, a pairing he described as a good team. That is no small endorsement. Bagnaia remains one of the benchmark riders of this era, and Alex's potential promotion would mark a significant career milestone. Elsewhere, Marquez predicts Luca Marini leaving Honda to join VR46 Racing Team, partnered by Moto2 graduate Celestino Vietti. Danny Holgado is tipped for KTM Tech 3 alongside Enea Bastianini, while David Alonso joins Fermin Aldeguer at Gresini Racing. He also places Fabio Quartararo at Aprilia Racing with Marco Bezzecchi, Pedro Acosta at Honda alongside Jorge Martin, and Toprak Razgatlioglu at Yamaha with Joan Mir. A fascinating blend of established champions and emerging talent. The full predicted 2027 lineup reads as follows: Ducati Lenovo, Alex Marquez and Francesco Bagnaia, Gresini Racing, Fermin Aldeguer y David Alonso, VR46 Racing Team, Luca Marini e Celestino Vietti, Aprilia Racing, Marco Bezzecchi e Fabio Quartararo, Trackhouse Racing, Ayogura and Raul Fernandez, KTM Factory, Maverick Vinales y Brad Bender, KTM Tech 3, Danny Holgado y Enea Bastianini, Honda, Pedro Acosta y Jorge Martin, LCR Honda, Johan Zarco y Diogo Moreira, Yamaha, Toprak Razgatlioglu ve Joan Mir, Pramac Yamaha, Jack Miller and Alex Rins. It is a grid brimming with youth, ambition and calculated reshuffles, yet the most striking aspect remains the absence of Marc Marquez's name. Was it simply humour, or was it a subtle acknowledgement that 2027, the dawn of a new technical era, might also mark the end of his premier-class journey? By 2027, Marquez will be in his mid-30s, a veteran in a championship increasingly dominated by riders who have grown up studying his style. The physical toll of his injuries over recent seasons is well documented. Although he has reasserted himself as a title contender, longevity at the very top demands both mental hunger and physical resilience. There is also the strategic angle. The 2027 regulations promise significant changes in aerodynamics and engine configuration. Some riders relish reinvention, Others prefer to bow out on their own terms rather than rebuild from scratch. Marquez has always been fiercely competitive, but he is also pragmatic. If he feels the cycle is complete, if he has achieved what he set out to achieve in red. Stepping away before decline sets in would be consistent with his calculated career decisions. However, it would be premature to interpret a laugh as confirmation. In the paddock, deflection is often a tactical tool. By leaving his future ambiguous, Marquez retains leverage. Teams remain cautious. Rivals remain uncertain. The market stays suspended around him. There is another layer to this story. Internal dynamics. Ducati's factory structure is already delicate. Bagnaia represents continuity and stability. Marquez represents star power and relentless ambition. If Alex Marquez were indeed promoted, the political balance would shift yet again. Would Ducati truly build its future around Bagnaia and Alex? Would Marquez willingly step aside? Or is this prediction an indirect signal that he sees a changing of the guard? His comments have undoubtedly fueled tension, not overt conflict, but the kind of quiet strategic tension that defines championship-winning organizations. Marc Marquez may have delivered his 2027 forecast with a smile, but in MotoGP, even jokes carry weight. By mapping out the future of nearly every major rider while leaving his own destination blank, he has ignited speculation that could shape the next 2 seasons. Is retirement truly on the horizon? Or is the baby alien simply reminding everyone that, even off the track, he controls the narrative? One thing is certain. Until Marc Marquez publicly commits to 2027, the transfer market will remain on edge. And every laugh, every pause, every sideways glance will be analysed as if it were a final lap overtake. If we look deeper, Marquez's projected grid also reveals something about how he views the next generation. Names like Pedro Acosta, Fermin Aldeguer, David Alonso and Dani Holgado represent a wave of fearless young talent ready to redefine the competitive order. By placing them in competitive machinery, Marquez is effectively acknowledging that the balance of power is shifting. The question is whether he sees himself fighting against that wave, or stepping aside as it crests. Another intriguing detail is his projection of Pedro Acosta at Honda alongside Jorge Martin. That combination suggests Marquez believes Honda will rebuild strongly enough to attract, or retain, elite-level aggression. It is a subtle vote of confidence in a manufacturer still striving to return to its former dominance. Given Marquez's long history with Honda, such a prediction may also reflect inside knowledge of the factory's long-term ambitions.